What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah.
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Well, a very, very happy Thursday to you, and welcome into yet another edition of Your Show. I am your host, Gary. This still is, as far as we know, the only show originating from Saskatoon on the internet from 4 to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday. It's so cool to be able to say that. We say it all the time. If you're doing something no one else is doing, that's how you get noticed. That's how you change the game. That's how you grow. That's how you make a difference. And that's what we're doing here. And it's all thanks to you, always. Because without you, there's none of this. So thank you for coming along for this amazing ride of trying to make the world a better place and, you know, reminding everyone the importance of putting others before yourself and the golden rule, doing good things, having them happen to you. Okay, that's what we need. It's very lacking. There's no empathy left in the world, and we're trying to bring it back. And love and compassion, all those things. We won't get sappy on you. I will, though, trick this dog for the second time. Come here. Come here, you little rascal. Yeah. Oh, she's getting so smart. We also have a camera. And this camera is special. It's amazing. One of our favorite things. It's probably the reason you're here right now, most people, because it involves the greatest dog to ever dog. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Maggie Cam. Look at her. You got to turn around, girl. Show them your beautiful face. Don't take off, though. Don't you take off now. Yeah, when you go live, this is what we talk about. This is what makes it magical. You never know what's going to happen, including the dog. Oh, there she goes. Is she going to spot up? Come here now. It's going to be a tough one. Well, I'm trying to keep an eye on her here. Let me tell you who proudly brings you this incredible camera. That's our friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocery. I told you not to lick. You're getting hairballs. Come on up here. When you go there, we were there yesterday. The greatest pet store in the world, not just because of all the amazing things they have to offer you, but the amazing people inside. Okay? March, come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Okay, you're getting there now. Now we're cooking. I saw Leroy yesterday. Leroy is Maggie's boyfriend. They met at the Puppy Welcoming Committee convention as Leroy greets you at the door, just like Maggie greets our guests here at the door. I need a cute one from you, Marge. And then when Leroy greets you, he walks up to the till, and your day just keeps getting better. Okay, whether it's Mike or Rochelle working that till, two of the greatest human beings to ever walk this earth, so kind, so amazing. They'll take you through the whole thing. They'll tell you what's new, what's not, what's hot, what's not, all that stuff. They got all the latest fashions and clothing. Good girl, you nailed it. We're talking these buckle-up collars. Check this out. Well, I got it up on the set here. We'll show it to you in a second. But they have matching leashes for those. As well, a cleaning station that we're about to shoot another Adventures with Maggie in, which is going to be a lot of fun. Brooksy and I go in there, and we basically shoot a fun little film of Maggie doing fun, cool stuff. The outfits. They got shirts. They got the little booties. They got beds, blankets, those towers. They got toys. They got treats. They got everything. And when I say that, I'm not joking. We're talking raw food. If you want to change your dog to the raw food diet, they got a whole bunch of fridges in the back full of those raw foods for you to change into. They got medicines. They can license your dog. They do every single thing you expect from a pet store amazingly well, and then they go above and beyond. The service, second to none. They're also open after hours and on weekends, thanks to Kirsten and Chris. I'm telling you, there's a reason we open this show each and every time, talking about Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. And that reason is because they are the best. And they are like you and I. They want to make the world a better place. They want to make sure people are happy. They care. And when people care, you can tell. So thank you again to our incredible friends there over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Man, she's got that paw hanging. That's a good look. Hold on. We got Phenom on the ones and twos today. I'm going to see if we can get some really cute stuff. I like to call these little cute Namis. Look at that cute Nami. Oh, boy. Well, the only tsunami I'm not scared of right there. No phobias of that. Marge, you're a good girl. I love you. Got a wink? Give me a wink. Can you wink for us? He's into winking lately. That's not a real good wink. That's a little better. All right, Phenom, say hello. Where you at? There he is. Look at that. Still just a hand, but he's growing. The hand gets bigger and bigger as it is Thursday. And our sign to know that it is Thursday did not make it in today, as CTV's Matt Young, very busy, like most newsrooms around the province right now, as the fires are everywhere. To all of our friends out in Candle Lake, I love you guys. Be safe and make sure you guys get out if that's the situation, as it's ongoing, it's moving. It's very, very scary stuff. So anybody involved with those fires, we're thinking of you and we're sending you all the love and all the support. Just know that we got your back. And yeah, it's horrible, horrible, devastating stuff. So again, all the friends and neighbors out at Candle Lake, please make sure you are safe, as CTV's Matt Young is organizing a whole bunch of news stuff to let all of us know about what's happening. So he did not make it in today. We did have the second episode of a brand new show here on the network drop just mere hours ago. That show is called Good Sports with Ryan Flaherty, and it is absolutely fantastic. And we love to showcase the new show. So the show, the basic breakdown of the show, I can just tell you this right now, is the opening is basically an introduction and then tells you all the stuff going on in the sports world here in Saskatoon, the local sports world. And then there's a big interview this week, Gage Grassick. You want to talk about an amazing human being. Gage, like unbelievable. Top basketball female in the nation. She's up for, I believe, Female Athlete of the Year for all of youth sports. This girl did it all fresh off the title. Shot 41% from the three-point line. Isn't that crazy? 41%. Last year it was like mid-20s. She's like, no, I'm going to get better. And she did. So Gage Grassick will join Ryan Flaherty on the show. You can check it out on the network. And then he does the Good Sport of the Week at the end. And basically what we're going to play for you here is that opening to get you all caught up with all the local sports. And then we'll see who his Good Sport of the Week is to end that off. And then we'll come back here and we'll take care of some business before we get into the other news show that we are going to be showcasing here. But without further ado, look at that. The banner is right there. I kept the intro in too because the intro is so unbelievably amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 2. Here's a little snippet of Good Sports.
Whatever makes you happy, what gets you out of bed, whatever kicks the cobwebs so you'll join in instead. Good sport! A victorious daydream. Good sport! Don't sweat glory or fame. Good sport! Ain't we all on the same team? Good sport! It's the name of the game.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Good Sports. That's right, we have not been canceled. We were allowed to come back for a second episode. Super grateful to everyone for the response to episode 1. Great interview with Jerison Baranica Hamilton and Jade Hoomfan of the Canadian women's futsal team and, of course, the Saskatchewan Huskies. So if you haven't checked out episode 1 yet, head on over to the Dufferin Ave Media Network YouTube channel and peruse it at your leisure. It's well worth the time. This week on the show, very excited to welcome another athlete with connections to Husky athletics. It is the best women's basketball player in the country this past university season. It is Gage Grassick, the pride of Prince Albert, who's going to join me here in the studio. I, of course, am Ryan Flaherty, if I didn't say that already, and I'm over the moon happy to be here for episode 2. But I want to start off this episode with a correction. And it's not like I made a mistake in the interview or a story, or we're not feeding you misinformation. It was an error of omission, and I want to correct that right now. I want to thank Sean Karpinka, good friend of the show, for writing our theme song. Sean Karpinka, very talented musician here in Saskatoon. Of course, one half of the Karpinka brothers, Aaron and Sean. They have recorded and released several terrific albums. Sean is now actually making his way as a film soundtrack composer and score writer. I don't even know if that's the proper term, but he has a formal education in writing music for movies and television, that sort of thing. So if you got a project and you're looking for a soundtrack, Sean Karpinka is the guy to talk to. Thank you, Sean, for writing and performing our Good Sports theme. Really appreciate it. So by all means, head on over, look for Sean's information online, and if you got anything, you're looking for someone to write some tunes for you, that's the guy to call. So thanks, Sean. Sorry we didn't get you the shout out in episode 1, but I want to make sure that we got set the record straight on that one here in episode 2. All right. Errors and omissions are out of the way. Let's get right down to it as we take a look at what's going on this week. And let's start off with the Saskatchewan Rush. So close to winning their 3rd National Lacrosse League championship since moving here to Saskatoon, but it just was not to be. Tough loss in Game 3 of the National Lacrosse League Finals against the Buffalo Bandits. It was a close game at the half, 7-6 Buffalo, but the Bandits just ran away with it in the second half, shutting out the Rush over the final 30 minutes en route to a 15-6 victory. Buffalo just, they're the bar right now in the NLL. That was their 3rd straight championship. But for the Rush, a lot of progress, a lot of positives to take out of this past season. For starters, they got to the playoffs for the first time since 2019, which sounds like a long time. Of course, you do remember playoffs were canceled in 2020 and there was no season in 21, but still 3 straight seasons without a playoff appearance for the Rush following the return from COVID. So great to see them not only, get to the playoffs, but perform well in the postseason as well, going all the way to that winner go home final Game 3 in the championship series. They also picked up their first playoff victory since 2018. Of course, that was the last time they won the championship when they defeated the Rochester Nighthawks. 2019, they did make the playoffs, but it was a one and done. Unfortunately, right here on home turf in Saskatoon, they lost an overtime heartbreaker against the Colorado Mammoth. So it had been, in fact, 7 years since the Rush won a playoff game. They won 3 of them, in fact, or actually, 4 of them this season. Of course, they knocked off Georgia in the quarterfinal. That was a 1-game playoff in the quarters. They defeated Halifax 2-0 in the best of 3 semis, and then they did take a game against Buffalo, but they needed that one more win, and that 5th playoff win to hoist the trophy. But it's a young team with a lot of exciting young players, and the consensus around the NLL is that the Rush are going to be contenders for years to come. So wouldn't be surprised if they're hoisting that trophy in the next year or two again. So congrats to Rush on a really good season. I know a lot of the fans were very excited by that playoff push, and we'll see if that momentum carries into next year in terms of, butts and seats and that sort of thing. But still a very promising rebuild, a little bit ahead of schedule, if you will, for the Rush this year that comes up just 1 win short of the title. Let's keep our eyes on lacrosse very briefly and talk about the Saskatchewan SWAT, the Junior A team, off to a tough start this year. Again, I mentioned it last week. It's been a few years since the SWAT have picked up a win in Junior A play. They feel like their team is starting to build again and that they are on the verge of breaking through again. But so far this year, it's been a bit tough slogging. They went on the road for the first time last weekend and lost a couple of games, 16-6 against the Calgary Mountaineers, with Caleb Hensley, the American import, scoring a hat trick for the SWAT in that game. And then against the defending champion Raiders from Okotoks, it was an 11-1 loss. Got to give a shout out to the SWAT goaltender who's from Alberta, Colton Ferguson. He made 57 saves in that 11-1 loss as the Raiders got 68 shots, which is just an absurd number of shots. Ferguson did everything he could. 11 goals on 68 shots is a pretty good number for a lacrosse goalie, but obviously didn't get a lot of offensive support. That Raiders team very, very strong defensively. And Ryder Goodwin had the only goal for the SWAT in that loss. So 0-4 is the record now for the SWAT. They're back home at Gordie Howe Kinsman Arena this weekend for 3 games against the St. Albert, or now they call them the Edmonton Miners. Used to be a couple teams in Edmonton. Now there's just the one. They're coached by a former member of the Rush, in fact, in John Lintz, who's from Edmonton. The Miners are coming in for 3 games this weekend. First one goes Friday night at 9 p.m., and then Saturday they play at 6, and on Sunday at 2. All 3 of those games against the Miners. The Junior B Tier 1 SWAT in the Rocky Mountain League, they had a tough weekend as well. They lost 3 times on home floor to the same team, the Calgary Shamrocks, who are first place team in the South Division. The SWAT of the Junior B Tier 1 variety are now 2-5 on the year. They are also playing 3 home games this weekend as they're hosting the Okotoks Marauders. So it is an absolute junior lacrosse fest at Howe's House this weekend. So if you want to check out some more lacrosse, if rush season is over and you still want your fix, I highly recommend you head down to Gordie Howe Kinsman Arena. The Junior B games are Saturday. They play twice at noon and 9 p.m. These guys, I don't know how they keep the energy for this. And then they got to turn around and play a third game at 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So we'll see who has the most gas left in the tank by that third game, SWAT and the Marauders. And if the lacrosse itself isn't enough to entice you to go down to check out a game or two this weekend, the concession at Gordie Howe Kinsman Arena, second to none in the city. In all the local arenas, you're not going to get a better concession. Only specifically during the junior games, though, because when the junior teams are playing, there's a lot of homemade goodies at the concession. I'm talking lemon meringue pies, lasagnas, giant cookies. So it's the food report here on Good Sports, but you should, it's a double whammy. You get some good lacrosse, some great food for a really reasonable price. All of it is at a really reasonable price. So Gordie Howe Kinsman Arena, head on over to the RMJALL for schedule information for the Junior A's, RockyMountainLax.com for the Junior Bs. And very quickly as well, the Tier 2 Junior B squad that plays in the Prairie Gold Lacrosse League, they are 3-2-1 on the season. They are actually playing this evening as we record this, so they don't play this coming weekend, but they are in Moose Jaw as we record tonight, taking on the 5-1 Moose Jaw Mustangs. So there's your SWAT lacrosse report. Okay, let's turn our focus to the hardwood now. Of course, basketball is going to be the topic of our feature interview this week. But first, let's chat a bit about the Saskatchewan Rattlers, who suffered a couple of really tough losses last week as they're now off to an 0-3 start to their season. It was a really rough beginning to the year, as we touched on last week. They lost their opener by 40 points. Much better effort and execution and performance in games 2 and 3, but unfortunately for the Rattlers, same result. If you're not familiar with the CEBL rules, they finish games with something called target score, and that essentially means they turn off the clock with a little bit less than 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They keep the shot clock, but the game clock gets turned off, and you add 9 points to the leading team's score, and the first team to hit that number wins the game. It makes for some really exciting finishes and games, and if you're down, you're never out of it. We've seen teams come back from double digits down at the start of target time to win because the psychology of the game completely changes. Teams get tight when they're starting to hit that target, and the team that's chasing often can play a little more relaxed. In the case against Edmonton, the Rattlers were chasing the Stingers for most of the second half. They were down 1 at halftime. Edmonton was able to maintain the lead throughout the second half, although they never led by more than 8 points. The Rattlers stayed in touch the entire time, but it came down to target time, and they had a 3-point shot to win it when they were 3 points away from the target score. Couldn't make the shot. Edmonton winds up winning it on a free throw at the other end by a former Rattler, in fact, Scotty Lindsay, putting the dagger in. So that was a tough pill to swallow, but you certainly, at least in game 2, could say, hey, this was a much better product from the Rattlers, a much better performance. Guys seem to be on the same page. The defense was so much better. A lot of things to say, okay, we're seeing real signs of improvement. Unfortunately, the result was the same as game 1, and the standings don't care whether you lose by 40 or you lose by 2. It's still a loss. Game 3 against the Niagara Riverlines a couple nights later, very similar scenario to the Edmonton game, at least in the way that it finished. In this case, though, the Rattlers actually got out to a double-digit lead in the second half. They led by as many as 13 points in the second half. But Niagara, with their championship pedigree, started to come back. They were the defending champs in the league. And by the time target score time arrived, it was a 4-point game in favor of the Rattlers. Niagara actually went ahead during target time. Rattlers came back, took the lead. Target score was 87. Eventually, they were tied at 86. So it was literally next basket wins. Any kind of basket, whether it be a 2-point, 3-point, or even a foul shot to win it. And once again, the Rattlers had a chance to win, had the ball in their hands, had a shot fall through the hoop, but it was released about a split second after the shot clock expired. Shot clock violation. Ball goes to Niagara, and the River Lions win it on a tough fadeaway jumper along the baseline. You got to give Ron Curry credit. No relation to Steph, but he looked a little bit like Steph with the shot that he made to sink the Rattlers 88-86, the final there. So a tough start overall, 0-3, but certainly some promising signs as the Rattlers come within a shot of beating both Edmonton and Niagara. Now they head on the road for their next 3 games, including 2 this coming weekend on a back-to-back, no less. We don't see a lot of back-to-backs in the CEBL, but the Rattlers are going to play one. They're facing the Scarborough Shooting Stars on Friday night at the Meridian Center, and then on Saturday they face Niagara again. Excuse me, that's the Meridian Center where Niagara plays. And so they'll have a rematch with Niagara just over a week after that tough defeat here in Saskatoon. So hopefully getting out, it's a little cliche. Maybe getting out on the road and bonding could be a tonic for an 0-3 team. I think just if they keep playing the way they have the last couple games, that type of effort, especially defensively, is going to come. They're going to start hitting a few more shots. They've also added a pretty good player as well who will make his debut in the game in Scarborough, Jordan Bowden, American guard from Tennessee, has added to the roster. They just announced today as we were recording this episode, he will replace Takal Molson on the roster. No official announcement about Molson's status, but if you go onto the Rattlers website and go to their roster page, Molson's no longer on it. So I think I can tell you that with some confidence that at the very least, Takal Molson has been removed from the active roster. Of course, there are limits to how many import players you can have in a league that is focused on developing Canadian talent. But those American players especially are really critical to your success because they're often some of your top scoring players. In this case, the other 2 Americans who have been with the team since day one are 2 of their top 3 scorers in Nate Pierre-Louis and Jameer Chaplin. In fact, they might be the top 2 scorers. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But Jordan Bowden averaged almost 17 points and 5 rebounds a game last year with the Montreal Alliance in his first season in the league. So certainly an upgrade, I would say, over Molson, who had scuffled a bit, struggled somewhat to find his role within the team, I think, just in the system. And so he is no longer on the roster. Jordan Bowden is added, and that should inject some more offense into the whole team. So that's a good sign, or good news, I think, for the Rattlers. Again, Friday night in Scarborough, Saturday in Niagara. They'll then play another road game a few days later in Calgary before returning home. Their next home game is on June 8th against the Vancouver Bandits, who, as we know, handed them their lunch in the season opener by a 40-point margin. But Vancouver, they're a very good, very, very good team. They've won their first 3 games of the season by at least 30 points. So something to keep an eye on. But again, June 8th, that is the Family Day game for the Rattlers. They're hoping to set a new attendance record at that one. So for now, keep your eyes peeled on CEBL.ca. You can subscribe for free on the CEBL's streaming platform and watch all the games all season long without spending any money whatsoever. So highly encourage you to check out CEBL Plus. There's lots of bonus content too, condensed games, highlights, all that kind of stuff. So you can cheer on the Rattlers while they're on the road. A couple more points to hit here, but to wrap up what's going on, let's tell you about the Saskatoon Valkyries, who improved to 2-0 in their Western Women's Canadian Football League season with a victory over the Manitoba Fearless out on the road in Winnipeg. 26-2 was the final in that game, as the Valkyries are now 2-0 on the year, and they are 1 win away from clinching first place in the East Division, and they can do that this weekend in Regina at Leibel Field against their provincial rivals, the Regina Riot. They've already beaten the Riot here in Saskatoon a few weeks back. 17-7 was the score in that game. The Riot and Fearless have actually split their 2 head-to-head meetings, so hard to know what kind of Riot team the Valkyries are going to face on June 1st. But if you're in Regina, I would encourage you to head on down to Leibel Field. I think it's a 1 o'clock kickoff for that one, if I'm not mistaken. The Valkyries look to, once again, secure top spot in their division. And finally, would be remiss if we didn't talk a little baseball, because it is opening week for the Saskatoon Berries, who are kicking off their sophomore season here in Saskatoon. Of course, last year, their inaugural year, they went all the way to the WCBL semifinals before losing to Moose Jaw. And that was after a winning year of 31-25. So certainly lots of exciting things to build on as they get set for this 2025 season, which actually begins on the road. As I just take a look down here at my notes, they're actually kicking things off on this very night, Thursday, at the Weyburn Beavers. Then they will visit Regina to take on the Red Sox. And then they will be back home for their home opener. Pardon me, that is against Regina. That is on Saturday, 4 p.m. at the Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. I think that's the official name that they use with the corporate naming rights and all that good stuff. So 4 o'clock on June 1st on Saturday against the Regina Red Sox. Home opener for the Saskatoon Berries. May have Carter Beck of the Berries on the show next week. Not confirmed yet, but hoping to have him here, right here in studio for next week's show. So hopefully we'll get the pride of Carnduff, Saskatchewan out here for an interview to talk about some Berries baseball. So by all means, get on down to Cairns Field and check out the home opener. I think there's only a couple hundred tickets left last time I looked. So I want to get on that. Great experience for the whole family, very affordable as well. And great baseball too. This is summer college baseball. All these athletes coming from their college programs and playing some wood bat baseball in the summer and keeping themselves in game shape. And hey, 12 teams now in the league spread across Alberta and Saskatchewan, and it's really having a resurgence these last few years with some expansion teams, some new fresh blood, if you will, in the league has really revitalized things. And so good luck to the Berries this season. Hopefully we get Carter back here on the show soon, if not next week. All right, well, before we go, of course, it is time for our good sport of the week. And let's stay with women's sports this week as we tip our cap, proverbially speaking, to Emily Clark. Of course, you likely know her mostly as a member of the Canadian women's hockey team for many years now, from right here in Saskatoon. But she also plays professionally with the Ottawa Charge, the PWHL, who just came just a bit short in their quest for the Walter Cup this past week. They ended up losing the best of 5 final championship series to the Minnesota Frost, who repeat as Walter Cup champions, have won they're the only team to win, and now the first 2 years of the league's existence. But Emily Clark was one of the main reasons why Ottawa was even within a victory or two, I guess, of winning that championship, as she led the Charge in playoff scoring with 3 goals and 2 assists over the 8 playoff games. And she became the first player in PWHL history to score a playoff game-winning goal in consecutive games. She had the winning goal in Ottawa's semifinal clincher against Montreal, a team that features Captain Clutch, Marie-Philippe Poulin, among others. Clark scored the winner in that game, and then she scored the overtime winner in Game 1 of the Walter Cup final against Minnesota. All 4 games in that series ended up being decided in overtime, and all went by the final score of 2-1, but it was Minnesota who ended up winning that series 3-1. But Emily Clark still acquitting herself very well. She was also named one of the PWHL's 3 stars of the week for the final week of the season, thanks to her efforts and nearly leading Ottawa to its first Walter Cup title. So Emily Clark is our good sport of the week. Want to give an honorable mention as well to Saskatoon Hilltops defensive lineman John Stevens. He's one of a couple Hilltops who got to attend Saskatchewan Rough Rider training camp as part of the territorial junior program. That is something that goes on every year. But not only did he attend camp, but he actually got into the Riders' first preseason game, the Field Goal Festival that they lost to Winnipeg last weekend. Late in the game, he got put onto the field by head coach Corey Mace. There's some good stories online about his showing at Rider training camp. So Etonia's own John Stevens gets the honorable mention on our good sport of the week, and our good sport is Emily Clark. So there you go. And that wraps up episode 2 of Good Sports. Thank you again to Gage Grassick for being here. What just a wonderful human being and a tremendous basketball player, obviously. Can't wait to see what the Huskies will do in the next season. I think a repeat is certainly within reach, but the challenge is to go and get it. As you heard, targets on their backs now, so we will see as things go. Of course, that season doesn't start for a few more months, so they still got lots of time to prepare, but Gage taking some time out of her busy schedule to join us, we really appreciate that. As mentioned, next week, hoping to have Carter back from the Saskatoon Berries on the show, but that is not confirmed just yet, so you'll just have to Tune in to find out. Thanks again to everyone here at Dufferin Avenue Media Network for making this show possible. I'm Ryan Flaherty. Thanks so much for watching. Be a good sport.
The best, I'm telling you. Ryan Flaherty and Good Sports, Episode 2, getting you all caught up in local sports in and around this beautiful city of ours that we love so much. The full episode is up now, right here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. You can check it out. And, just enjoy it. The full episode has the big interview with Gage Grasnick, a point guard for your national champion U of S Huskies women's basketball team. An absolute angel of a human being. I got to meet her as I was producing the show, and incredible, not just an incredible human being, but really good on the microphone too. I asked her after, I was like, have you done any media training or anything? And she says, no, but I did 4-H. So of course, has some comfort around the microphone. So you want to check that out. It's a fantastic interview with Gage Grasnick. That's the interview portion of the new episode, Episode 2 of Good Sports. As we continue here on the Thursday edition of your show, I think it's time to tell you a little bit about my buddy, my dude, my main man. His name is Mobley Llorente, okay? And he wants you to spring into your dream home. It's true, he really does. As, spring's here with damn near summer now with all this heat. And so is your chance to find that perfect home. With mortgage rates coming down, now is the ideal time to buy. Mobley Llorente with TMG, the mortgage group, works with multiple lenders to find the best mortgage for you, saving you time, money, and most of all, the biggest one, stress. Everyone's stressed nowadays. Everybody. We're all fighting that stress, and he can help you out, lower those stress levels, all right? Whether you're self-employed, a first-time buyer, or have credit challenges, 1, 2, 3, that's all me. He's always here to help with 24/7 personalized support, and the best part, his services are completely free. Be sure to hit him up, all right? That's Mobley Llorente with the Mortgage Group. Mortgage is made simple. 306-370-5804. Give him a call or text him anytime. He'll be more than happy to help you out. If you could use a live read like that, if you could use a spotlight on the things you're doing, your business, your charity, maybe you're like the Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Center and you're about to finish up another run of your citywide food drive. Head to saskatoonfoodbank.org, make a donation, and help out as the shelves of the warehouse are the barest they've ever been. And I'll tell you, Deb and Lori and Errol and Garnet, everybody over there, they'll all be so happy to see you and to have people helping out. That's what it's all about. We say it all the time. Do good things and they'll happen to you. And another great opportunity there for you. If you could use some promotion like that, just let us know. All you got to do is send an email. This email actually has a theme song, and I'm going to sing it for you now. Send an email to 1-2-3-4 contact@dufferinave.com. That is the email. This is the theme song. Getting better. The solo ones are a little bit, I don't want to say whack, but they're not as good as when everyone else sings them together. Anyways, that's the email. You send it, and then we send the email the heck out of here. See, we have fun with graphics around here, too. We also got a website. Royal Anders, my sweet, beautiful prince of a man, he built it. It's made specifically for people that hate the internet, hate websites, hate everything about this. He made it so people like you and I that despise technology can navigate it. Yeah, it's very nice. So I thank you again to Royal Anders. We'll give that one a little wipe as well. And we have a Twitch stream. The Hansel of Twitch streams. So hot right now. The sweet phenom in the back there, him and Uncle Brando are in charge of said Twitch stream, and it is just on fire. So much fun going on. The lineup right now, Mondays, we have Gaming with Brooksy. Tuesdays, it's Brando and Gary Get Good at Games. Then Friday nights, we do Brando and Gary Get Good at Gaming with guests, as the Phenom will be in the house with us as we continue Final Fantasy VI. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. A whole lot of fun over there on the Twitch stream. And, it's really good. If you don't know what it is, I can break it down for you very easily. It's people playing video games. That's it. And then, well, there's also a chat where all the people watching are involved in the gameplay as well. And the way we're doing this one, we're voice acting all of the characters in Final Fantasy VI. So each one of us has a certain number of characters that we voice for, and it ends in hilarity a lot of the time. So it's not just gaming, it's a artistic performance, if you will. 7 p.m. tomorrow night right there, twitch.tv/DufferinAveMedia. Check it out as we're having a lot of fun over there. Get out of here. One of these for the boys. Not as loud now. I can barely hear it. through the booth. Normally, when it was maxed out, when we were blowing guys' eardrums off, and I'd hit this, you hear it right through the tooth. Shout out to Dr. Funkhauser and Associates, by the way. Big Tooth on 2nd Ave. Amazing, amazing people there. All right, time to get back into it, as Good Sports isn't the only show we launched. No. Now episode 2, live. You can check it out. We also launched another show, a book club show, if you will. And now this show is called Not That Kind of Book Club. And I'm so pumped for this because these two girls, Les and Ree, they are so passionate about doing this. And they are both these guys, both these shows, Ryan Flaherty and Les and Ree, they're a perfect example of people with so much creativity flowing through their veins. And they just didn't have a way to put it together and to put it out to the world. You've seen it. The quality of Good Sports is incredible. Flash does such a great job. And it's the same here with Not That Kind of Book Club with Les and Ree. They are so passionate about what they're doing. And it's contagious. It makes you want to join their book club, if you will, as they get into the books and all that other stuff. We're going to play a little snippet from their first episode. And basically, it's like an introduction to them and what they're about and what they're doing. It'll give you an idea of how it all goes. And then after that, we'll wrap up this show. And then you can go watch those episodes as well here on the network. That's the beauty of the Dufferin Avenue Media Network here. It's not one show. Sure, we have your show every day, but a big part of this show is promoting all the other shows from all of our friends as we continue to grow and as we continue to spread the love around this beautiful city. I'm just so proud and honored of everybody here. It's such a cool thing. So without further ado, we're going to play a little bit now, again with the super cool intro. Shout out to The Abyss, the greatest hip-hop man of all time, for this incredible beat. Take it away, Phenom. Let's get into it.
Hey, I'm Les,
And I'm Ree. This is Not That Kind of Book Club.
a bookish podcast where we read it so you don't have to.
We are brand new to podcasting. This is episode number 1, so take it a little easy on us. And we're here literally just talking to you, two friends, about books.
This is a no judgment zone. No drama llamas, please.
We're just here to talk about all of our favorite books, all your favorite books, and really just get more people, hopefully, into reading.
Yes, it's all about building that book community and finding those people to talk all of the books with, because there's some interesting conversations to be had.
That's to say the least about books. I mean, I read pretty much everything. I'm getting ahead of myself, of course. Again, Les, I'm Ree. We are just two friends who met. We had this incredible opportunity be provided to us, and we had to jump on it. We had to jump on it and do this. Both of us are big book fans. I feel like it was meeting number 2 that we realized how much we both love books and just ran with it.
I mean, by meeting number 3, we decided we were going to be best friends. So
here we are to share books with you. We're starting this, which I think we already covered, is just because we want to keep building a book community. We saw an opening and we're running with it. So as we go through this, let us know what you kind of want to see, what you want to hear. We're going to do the best we can to just keep bringing good content and everything that we find entertaining in the book world. But we would love whoever's out there listening to join in as well.
And I'm not going to lie, we have some pretty cool things coming your way, but we're always open to suggestions and how we can make this awesome.
But nice suggestions, because I will cry.
Yes, please be kind.
Like we said, no drama llamas.
Well, exactly, right? This is supposed to be fun, guys.
Exactly. We're not doing this because we're forced to or anything. This is a fun passion project that we're doing because we just genuinely love to read. I mean, you're seeing a couple books we both have up here throughout the little studio, and this is just a small sample. At some point, I think we're going to have to do home book tours so everyone can see just what our home libraries look like, because it's a lot.
Yeah, that's an understatement. It's interesting. I feel like we're going to have to do the whole, how many books do you have in your library?
Oh, that's a really personal question. You want to know my number?
Yeah, I do. I want to know that number.
Well, I'm going to have to go home and count first.
Ugh. Suspense. That's rude.
I know. We'll save that for episode 2. We'll
Awesome.
save it for episode 2. So, real basic, Les, how did you get into reading?
Oh gosh. Okay, bear with me. This one's a little bit of a long story. But let me start with I fucking hated reading. It sucked. Growing up, I hated it. I was that kid who forged my parents' signature on that like reading log just so I could win the bookmarks and hit my whatever 160 hours of reading to collect all these Calgary Flames bookmarks.
Calgary Flames
I'm
bookmarks.
not gonna lie.
Not even a pizza party.
No, I had like a Jerome Iginla like bookmark that I was so proud of. But it was like you had to get to the very end to get that one. So like it was goals.
Do you still have it?
I wish. Let's be real. I'm pretty sure my mom threw it out.
Of course, as
but,
they're
like,
getting rid of all your stuff.
I was probably obsessed with it for 5 minutes, and then I
Mhm.
was like, ugh, who likes hockey anyways? So, back to that. I hated reading, and my dad absolutely loved reading. He was that human that he could pick up a book and read the entire thing, like fastest reader I know.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we're polar opposites at this point. And when my dad died, I feel like I kind of found a connection to books, and like it kind of connected me to my dad. So for reference, we went to Hawaii a couple months after he had passed, and my mom came across this used bookstore, and she's like, "Oh, like let's go in." And
Mhm.
me being me, I'm like, "Ugh, okay." So I'm looking at books. I'm like, "Oh, this one like sounds pretty good." And I read an entire book on the beach. And I asked my mom, I was like, "Hey, like, can we go back to that bookstore?" And then all of a sudden, I read 4 books in Hawaii. And then the next year, I read 35 books for a year. And then it was 100, and then 130, and this year's going to be 150. So I
Ooh.
honestly feel like it's my dad that kind of got me into reading, and it's
Mhm.
like my connection to him. So, long story short, my dad got me into reading. But yeah,
In that
sorry.
cool, long, roundabout kind of way. That's actually really special to kind of have that connection. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
been, what, like 9 years since your dad, 8, 9 years since your dad had
It'll
passed?
be 8 years at the end of May.
Okay, and like a really beautiful way to kind of still feel close to him and keep his spirit alive for
Right?
you.
I don't know. And like, it might sound like a sad story, but honestly, like, for me, it's kind of a happy story too, because you get to keep that connection.
Mhm.
And even though they're gone, like, you read a book and you're like, man, my dad would love this book. Or my dad would be making fun of me right now because he'd be like, you always bitched about reading, and now you're hosting a podcast and you read books for a living at this point. But yeah. How about you, Ree?
Ooh.
What got you into reading?
So, growing up, I kind of went through phases where I had a lot of friends and then I was kind of a loner, but it all started with me being a little bit, I'm pretty weird. Like, full stop, I'm pretty weird. So, I go through phases of just being very introverted, a little bit extroverted, and books were always something that were there for me. They were like friends, essentially, which sounds so sad to admit out loud, but
say.
but they are though, you know, they're
Yeah.
a great escape. You have all these different genres that you can read, and all of a sudden you have tons of friends through different worlds. So for me growing up, reading was a way for me to escape, to get into things, which is a really cool thing too, you know? So you build these like little worlds and you get to be a part of it for a little while. You don't have to think
Honestly-
about what's going on the outside that door.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like that resonates with me too in a way because when you're having a bad day or when something happens, sometimes just crawling into your bed and reading a book just kind of makes everything feel a little bit better. And like, you're able to shut off your brain. You're able to read a book and be like, oh my God, these people are more messed up than I am.
Yes.
But I'm not messed up, I swear. I'm just a little bit weird like Ree. It's probably why we are very similar humans.
get along so
But
well.
I don't know, like I have difficulties sometimes imagining or like picturing what a world will look like. And like when you read a fantasy book, when you're reading it, can you see it? Like, can you be like, oh, I imagine that this is what it looks like?
Yes, I build it in my brain.
See, I do not have that ability. And so I'll read things. I'm like, wait, what is this? Like, where are we? I'm confused.
Mm.
So I'm that person that has to like constantly flip to a map and be like, oh, okay, I got it. But like some books, I can't read. And I know my partner the other day actually asked me, he's like, well, when you read a smut book, do you like picture the man or like picture the
Mhm.
people? And I was like, no. He's like, well, then how do you read it? I was like, no, they're just people in a book. Like, I don't picture them. I just read about them.
Okay, I feel like smut books are the best that set things up so you can actually picture what's going on because you always have the author saying, "Oh, look at how engorged he is." And you're like, "Yep, I can picture that." His
Seriously.
rippling sinewy muscle in his legs and you're like, "Yeah, I can see that happening."
See, it's wild the terminology that authors will use
I
for things.
know.
And I'm just like, honestly, like, what is this? Walk around this. Just say, like, dude, we hooked up, or like any of that. Don't give me fake names for things. Like,
Some of them are pretty
or
outrageous, I
like the
will
tickle
say.
my pickle, and you're like, no, just say,
No.
like, what it is.
Yep. Yep. What you're doing
But
to him.
I don't know how we got here. We were
I
talking
don't
about
know either.
we were
about
talking about how we got
books.
into reading.
Now we're talking about.
tickling a pickle.
But yeah, so even still to this day, like I think my therapist thinks it's a good thing. Like reading is a good escape.
Hmm.
You obviously don't do it all the time. If she is watching this, I don't read to escape all the time, just sometimes. But it is an easy thing to do. Like, I bring a book with me if I'm going to an appointment and I know I'm going to have to wait. If I'm not sitting in traffic, but I'll listen to audiobooks then. If I'm at work and I have a bit of a break, I'll open up a book. It's just, there's so many opportunities where instead of, grabbing my phone and scrolling through it, I just pick up a book. But I think what people don't understand with reading either, because I have talked to so many people who say, oh, I haven't read since high school. And in my brain, right away, I go judgy. And I'm like, well, you're illiterate as fuck if you haven't read a book since high school. So sorry for
Well, I'm
everybody
like,
who isn't reading.
sorry, if the last book you read is Catcher in the Rye, like, you need to educate yourself on the smut world or like fantasy worlds. Like, not Catcher in the Rye. Like, of course you don't want to read after that.
There's so much out there. There is literally a book for everyone out there. And it's a muscle that you have to work on and you have to build, just like you would go to the gym to build bigger like body muscles. You have to sit and read and practice to be able to build a reading muscle as well.
And I think too that like people, when they read, you're able to kind of, oh my gosh, my voice is cracking.
Some coffee.
Sorry. But I think that when people read, it kind of increases the speed you're able to read at because, like you said, it's building that muscle. And I don't know what I can call it, like your reading muscle or whatever you want to call it. But realistically, like eventually you're able to actually read faster. I know that I also listen to audiobooks. I mean, driving to Calgary for 6.5 hours there and 6.5 hours back, you can probably blow through like 2 books. Unless you're reading a fantasy novel that is 550 pages long.
15-hour book to listen to.
Yeah, but even there, like my speed of listening has gotten higher. So like I cannot listen to a book at 1 point speed. Like it hurts my soul. So normally it's like a 1.3 to a 1.5. But I also know people who listen to it at like 2.25, and I'm like, hey, that's gibberish. I have no idea how you do that.
That's a lot of processing in your brain.
It builds your processing speed. And like in your brain and like cognitively, like I think it is important to like keep your brain kind of processing like that because again, it's that muscle. And a lot of us have slower processing speed because of kind of what's going on in the world. And we are very addicted to social media and we don't read and we don't go outside. We don't do these things. Like the world has changed. The world has changed drastically in the last little while. So yeah, again, how did we get here?
I know. I do think the world is going back into reading more and more and more though. Like there is, I don't want to call it trendy to be a well-read person, but at the same time, it seems like more people are getting into actually getting books and reading them again.
Well, and then you also have the people, unfortunately, I'm not calling myself out here, but I am also calling myself out here, that buy books because they're pretty. And like,
Hang on. Before we even go further with this, everybody needs to know that buying books, having books, and reading books are 3 separate hobbies. So you might be reading something, but then you have a separate hobby of acquiring all your books as well as having all your books. So don't sit and feel bad that you have a bookshelf full of books you're not willing to read because you just have the hobby of building a bookshelf. And maybe you like to go shop for your books, and then you'll find one every so often that you're going to read.
well, and honestly, like if I read something on my Kindle and I'm like, man, like that book was so good, am I going to order it? Most likely. Am I ever going to crack it open? Probably not, but it's a souvenir or a trophy that like I loved that
Yes.
book. And then also like if you go to any book signings or you go to any of those things and authors sign your book, I am not cracking that book open. It is sitting on my shelf because now this is like a valued possession. But I have also learned that I should stop getting them to write my name in them because then if I ever choose to like get rid of a book, well, it has my name in it. So now I can't get rid of it because I could, but like I'm not going to.
Okay, but one of my favorite things when I am shopping at thrift stores or used bookstores is when I find a book and I open it up and there's a personalized inscription in there to
Yeah.
someone, and you're like, this book had so much love in it. And like, who else has read it? Where has this come from? Who gave it to you? What was the, anniversary, or what was the occasion that you gave this book to someone? And then it
Yeah.
ends up on my shelf, and it's so cool. And it makes me think about books that I've lost along my journey that I've had written, signed for me, or I've written my name in. And where the fuck in the world are those books? So if you find one ever through the world, like, let me know where it ended up.
If it just says Rihanna and you're like, yeah, that is totally me. There's no one else in this world called Rihanna.
Not spelt this way.
Not spelled that way, but I don't know. Like, I also find it really cool. I find it a lot more with like kids' books, and like you'll find it and you'll open it and it's like has the date and it's like happy birthday
Yes.
to my sweet granddaughter, love grandma and grandpa, and you're just like, oh my god, like that's so kind and I love it.
Yeah.
It's so cute. But
How
then,
many times was this read to you at night?
yeah, and then I mean, I don't know about you, but when I graduated grade 12, I think I got 5 copies of The Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss.
Yes, classic
And
book.
I can't get rid of any of them because they're all personalized by different people. And of course, they all wrote in the book. And I was like, man, like, this one's from my teacher. This one's from my parents. This one's from my aunt and uncle, my mom's best friend. Like, which one do I get rid of?
You can't get rid of any of them.
No,
They go
so
in a memory box.
I have 4 of them on my shelf.
Or they go in your shelf.
Well, they're in Calgary, so it's okay.
Ah, well, you're going to have to move them here.
I don't think they'd fit on my bookshelf at this point.
Buy more bookshelves.
You tell my partner that one.
Oh,
He
I
will
will.
say no.
I'll go to bat for you on that one.
I don't even know where I would put another bookshelf. Like, my house is not big enough for more shelves, but I would make it work.
Oh yeah,
I will put books
that's what it's
everywhere.
all about.
Like,
Just making it work.
I keep joking that my office is probably the most expensive room in my house because I have like 600 books in there. And a lot of them are like exclusive editions or sprayed edges or signed copies. So, like,
Oh,
do
that's
not burn my house down. I will cry. I cannot take 600 books out of my house if it's on fire. Like, when somebody asks you, what would you grab if your house was on fire? Like, I would have to go and, like, grab, like, the most important books to me, and then I'd forget everything else. So, like, that's not great, but
This just makes me think I have all of my books in our living room, and there's a big picture window there, and if there was a fire, I would probably
Out the
knock
window.
the window and just start throwing books on my front lawn to get them out of the fire.
yeah. As your partner's running around trying to grab passports and social insurance
Wallets.
cards.
Make sure the dog, well, I would obviously make sure the dogs are okay, but yeah, I would just be chucking books on my front lawn
Yeah.
because I am not losing those again.
I feel like this is a conversation I'm going to have with him at home and be like, Kate, you're responsible for all of the important documents.
Yep.
And I will be throwing my books out the window from the second floor and hope to God that they don't get too destroyed. Or maybe I'll throw the mattress out first and then throw my books on the mattress.
Yeah, like put like a sheet down or something and then just start.
Could you imagine? Oh, no, you take a sheet and you like throw all the books in it and you tie it up like those in
Like
like
a
the cartoons
bag,
where you put a
yeah.
stick and you throw it over your shoulder. Like all I can think of is like Winnie the Pooh, but like
Yes.
I wouldn't even be able to carry that.
No,
like I'd be
not
dragging this
600 books.
I'd be dragging this like sheet full of books across this like
As
the lawn. as my
fire is
house-
getting closer and closer to you,
Oh
and
my
you're just sitting there
gosh.
dragging them all.
Yeah, see now you have me thinking. I'm like, do I move some books into the corner as like these are the ones I would take in a fire?
Oh, but you don't want to put that out there either.
No, I don't want my house to burn down.
No, I would also prefer your house not to burn down.
Yeah. I mean, the fire hydrant is right on the corner, so like
Ooh,
that's pretty
convenient.
helpful.
That's very convenient.
Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was a good talk. I mean,
That was, I mean, now
mean,
I have
now-
an escape plan of what I'm going to do for my books. I
Yeah.
had never thought about this before, and as somebody who spirals quite often, I can't believe that I didn't think about my books before, but now I have a game plan for
do you know
them.
how long we're going to be talking about this now? We're just going to have text conversations about, okay, what are we going to bring? Like, what things are we actually taking out of our house if it's on fire?
Exactly. I'm going to have to inform my partner now that this is the game plan.
Yeah.
Like,
we're gonna
honey,
have to,
you take care of all that. I have to take care of the books.
we're going to have to sit down and write an emergency action plan and be like, this is our roles. This is what's happening. But, like, you also have to be careful because if I throw the cat outside, he's just going to leave.
Put an air tag on him.
He doesn't even have a collar on right now. He lost his collar. You think that he's not going to lose an air tag? My cat's
that's
not that
fair.
smart.
Yeah, you almost, not like a microchip type thing, but you almost want them to just like
Yeah.
swallow one.
He is chipped, so
Okay, well
that's
then
helpful.
he'll be fine. It'll be fine. You throw the cat out, then you throw the books out. And so this is a good opportunity for everybody else. Think about your emergency action plan of what you're going to do with your books if you were to have a fire at your house. Are they in a place where you can easily grab them, like your favorite ones? Or are they in a rough spot? Or do you need to move them somewhere close to a window so you can also action plan and just like break the window and throw them outside?
I'm going to ask this again. How did we get to emergency action plans for saving our books?
I don't know, but now we're here and I have really, really just dug into this. I'm going to be
I'm
thinking
very-
about it all
yeah.
day.
I'm very invested in this conversation now.
Oh my gosh. Pivot though. Pivot. How
Pivot!
many books do you
Sorry.
read at a time?
How many books do I read at a time?
Yeah. Are you a one book at a time person or do you have multiples on the go? Because I know how I answer this question, but I like to hear what other people.
Are you going to judge my answer?
No, no judgment here.
I usually have like 3 or 4. Because you have to have one on your Kindle.
Yep.
You have to have one on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have one on your phone in case you forget your Kindle somewhere.
Yes.
And then naturally, like, you have to have a book that you're actually going to crack the spine and read.
Yes.
Do you agree? Are you the same?
I'm the same.
Girl,
I have my audiobook right now. I've got my Kindle here. I've got some books I'm reading. And then, of course, I've got my like Kindle on my phone because you don't want to get caught somewhere and not have a book to read.
see, and it's like, if I forget my Kindle, I have my phone. If I magically forget my phone, which that's a little hard to do
Ugh, not
anymore.
in today's day and age.
Yeah, then I would have my actual book usually. I have one in my car, and I know
Mhm.
that sounds weird, but emergency action plan, I've got to read.
Yes. That makes me feel like I need to put a book in my car too. So I guess I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing later
I
today.
mean, let's be real. If I forget my phone, then I also can't listen to my audiobook. So, like, that's like 3 out of 4 options are gone. So, you got to put a book in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to put it in my, like, under my seat in that little bin that pulls out.
Yep.
No one will know I
Yep.
have books in my car.
Well, I mean, are you embarrassed to have books in your car? Is
No,
this
not
like
really.
a dirty little secret?
I mean, if I'm being honest, there's probably always 2 boxes of books in the back of my car. And like, this makes me sound crazy. I'm not crazy. But, you know, I run a little business and I need used books. And when I get books and some of them can't really use, they go in a box. And then you go to Value Village, you get your 20% off coupon and you buy some new books. Or you go to fill your basket for $7 at the thrift store.
Ooh.
And you drop off books at the same time, so you're like, hey, I donated back to the community. Now I'm going to let the community donate to me.
That's the best way to do it. If you have not gotten into thrifting books, whether it's at secondhand stores, it's at, your local little bookstores, it's at Value Village, Mission Thrift, what have you, you are missing out because people donate brand new books all the time and they are in such good condition.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put a pin in this conversation because I think we'll talk about it next episode more about like where to go even in Saskatoon and finding books and things like that, because that honestly could be an entire episode.
Yes.
There you go. Promo Thursday. That's what this was today. That right there. Not That Kind of Book Club. A brand new show here with Les and Ree. And so good as you got a taste there. You can find it on the network. Look, it's got a banner right there as well. And a brand new episode of Good Sports, episode 2 with Ryan Flaherty, as he had Gage Grassick in studio, and she was absolutely fantastic. You can check out that episode on the network as well. Thank you to the Phenom making it in today, and to Kim, my savior, helped me out today with all of my tax stuff. She's an angel. We love her very much. And to you for always being here and helping us promote the importance of doing good things and having them happen to you. Tomorrow, we got the Friday Fun Table. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hardcore will be in, making her triumphant return after taking last Friday off. Uncle Brando will be here, and maybe a couple more. We'll see how it all plays out, but the core will be there. It's going to be a lot of fun as we roll into the weekend, then straight into Final Fantasy VI on the Twitch stream at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Twitch.tv/Dufferin Ave Media is where you find us. Until then, enjoy hockey tonight. I'm not allowed to watch or talk about it, but just know we're cheering for that team that's from here-ish. It'll be a good thing. Have an amazing, fantastic rest of your Thursday. And please remember, do good things and they'll start happening to you. That's all we did here. And look at this. It's amazing. Take care.